A word for our listeners. Masks of Nyarlathotep is set in the 1920s. We will be using terms and sayings from those times, including some that could be considered offensive. It is not our intention to offend. We merely wish to offer as accurate a view of the time period as possible. Welcome to the Nerds Domain presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. Join us each week as our investigators follow a path of clues and attempt to save the world from an ancient evil. Starring John Quiett, Jestin Kimmet, Shirley Niedzwiecki, George Chimples, Jason Hall, and Scott Troiano, with Matt Quiett running the table as keeper. Eldritch evils and crazed cultists await you just beyond this music.
All right, so you guys have been to Castle Plum. That was exciting, right? Woohoo! Yep. And now you're back in town. George and Mr. Weld and Mr. Botticello, where are you guys headed?
Is there a general store type thing, or is it just the pub?
There's a general store.
I want to send either a nicer bottle of booze or something nice to the priest's house.
Okay.
With just a note that says...
Along with the books?
I'm looking for Mr. Wentworth, yes.
Professor
Wentworth.
Yeah, he didn't go to...
I'll come along with you because you're going to need that. But I've got my eye out for... I'm going to send him a nice gift basket of something polite.
So you guys head back over to the Tavern Inn. Yes. Professor Wentworth, I assume you freshened up and then went back downstairs. Probably ate lunch.
Yeah, I suited up.
Okay, suited up. So Mr. Botticello and Mr. Weld come in. John, I'd say, or Mr. Byrne, by the time they're coming back, you're probably done hosing down.
Sounds good.
Same thing with you, Miss McCrea, and Mr.
I put my regular clothes back on, but I put like that nice frilly white lacy shirt on under my...
Mr. Captain Wilkerson, where were you
duster.
headed?
Back to my room.
Okay, so you come back down to eat?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so Mr. Botticello and Mr. Weld, you enter, and they're kind of all sitting around eating a light lunch or whatever. So
and shooting whiskey.
Yes, and Miss McCrea is shooting whiskey, because that sounds like a great idea when you're going to play with a werewolf. Oh, yes, she's shooting whiskey.
Yay, the constable's helping.
She's throwing shot glasses in the air going...
That'd be cool.
It's practice.
Yeah.
So,
Professor Wentworth, I believe you have 2 books that belonged to the...
Belonged? What'd you do with the body?
Oh, no, he's still there, but we need to return them. He's
going to assist us with the things at Castle Plum, the conditions. Situation.
You were in the room when this conversation took place, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I can show restraint when need be.
That's new.
He was well behaved.
One of us had to be.
Yes.
Are you feeling ill there, Mr. Botticello?
You can have the books.
Thank you.
We have everything we need.
Would you accompany me back? I still don't trust this man.
We will... He wanted us to come back with everyone. I'll send them ahead with something that might smooth over any hurt feelings that I may have left.
Sounds like a plan.
So I'll take the books, and then I'm going to go arrange either a really nice bottle of scotch or a really nice bottle of gin if they have it at the pub, something the nicest they have.
Okay.
Put that in a little thing, with a carrier and say, take this to the father with my appreciation and my apologies and thanks. And send that with a tip to, I assume there's a little kid running around that does that kind of stuff.
Okay. Sure. And then are you going to eat lunch as well, I assume, and hang out for a few?
Yeah, then I'm staying with everyone else.
So you guys eat lunch and finish up. Are you headed back over to see the priest? Are you doing anything else?
Where's the captain at this point?
Captain's at the table.
Before you go to Castle Plum, Captain Wilkerson, the good father has agreed to perhaps educate you a little bit about what he knows about the Vane family and perhaps give you some ideas of how you might massage his mind to be more amenable to our concerns.
Excellent. Does he think everyone should attend this evening? What are your thoughts as a group?
I don't think you should go alone.
He felt that it would be best if we attended, as it might be dangerous, but that you should be the only one that talks. probably not me, as I have already displeased the good Lord Vane.
Well,
And perhaps not Miss McCrea or Mr. Botticello.
Why not? I know how to be quiet.
Oh, I know you do, but we are direct in our speaking at times.
and
Well,
They do not appreciate that here.
Maybe
And-
you shouldn't go.
and this is a delicate issue. It is his daughter.
No, we should go. We should just be silent. That is all.
Oh, alright.
Well, then, are we to eat lunch?
Yes.
Excellent.
And afterward, we will call on the father and then make our preparations for dinner.
Wonderful. I will need to make a phone call before then.
Okay, so you guys finish up lunch?
Yeah. I'm going to try to call Father.
No, your father.
My father.
Sorry. Okay.
Oh wait. Also, I will inquire at the pub. Is there a locksmith in town?
Yes.
I will ask for him to send the locksmith to the father's house and charge my account.
Okay. Call your father.
Yep. Do I reach him?
After talking to
Ferguson.
and waiting a few minutes, yeah, your
Yes.
father is available.
Good afternoon, Father.
Yes.
I would like to speak with you specifically regarding the disposition of your relationship with Lord Vane.
How so? Like, as I explained, we're on good enough terms. I'm friendly.
Understandable. However, subject of some delicacy has arisen. It appears that his daughter might be ill. He may or may not know of this illness, and it may or may not have impact on the reason you sent us here. My question is, do you wish me to press him, and is your relationship with him thus that it would withstand said pressing, or would you rather I proceed, not proceed? Will it withstand that sort of pressure? Being family and all, you know.
Does the situation need to be solved regardless of the relationship standing?
It does.
Then, by all means, if this destroys any relationship I have with him, then the greater good is what is important.
Well, I wanted to make sure that I heard that from you directly, as
Absolutely.
opposed to progressing and perhaps damaging something that might affect your work
Absolutely.
later.
I appreciate your discretion.
Thank you. Any other information that you might have about Lord Vane or Castle Plum that might be of use, or Eloise's daughter specifically?
Mm-hmm. I hear she's an artist of some sort.
That is my understanding as well.
Beyond that, it's my understanding she's very quiet and keeps to herself, so not really.
I just wanted to make sure that you didn't have any vested interest or perhaps animosity that would
Oh, no.
preclude
There's
or
always-
encourage me to move
There is
forward.
definitely a vested interest, but if the situation warrants losing that vested interest, then by all means.
I just wanted to make sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you. So, you guys wait around for Captain Wilkerson, probably enjoy the tavern itself. It is a rather calm place. I mean, even with a lot of people in there and it gets a little crowded, it does stay pretty relaxed. And then head back over to the church. Does that sound good?
Yeah. I take the time to actually go up and meditate for a bit and
Okay.
to recover myself. So
Are the whole group of you going over to the church?
I am going to the church.
we were instructed to go as a whole group, right?
Generally, yeah.
I'm going to pursue Mr. Weld as he heads to his meditation.
Okay.
Might I join you? It was quite beneficial the last time that we had an opportunity to relax ourselves.
Absolutely. Today we're going to work on divorcing ourselves from emotions, perhaps, as they can sometimes cloud our actions and thoughts.
Wonderful.
So, I've had you roll a cult for that before.
Yes.
I would like you to do that again, as well as you.
Yes.
Nope. Okay. You bring him into the meditative state and help him get there. Everything seems to be fine, and the meditative state ends, as far as you're aware, probably 15-20 minutes later, just enough to get you to where you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
You enter the meditative state, and as you're there, you're given you get this feeling You remember being struck, and this is probably what comes up in your mind, because you remember being struck by whatever force that was, and then falling. And you're when you assaulted the priest at the steel at Gavigan. And you feel, as you're like going through this, you feel your chest start to kind of pulse where you remember being struck. But again, meditation might be normal, and you don't think to say anything because it's just you're reliving the moment, you're reliving the feeling. It reminds you of when you dream and you relive those moments of combat, and you go through the rest of the meditative state. It comes up again and again, as it normally does, and then you find yourself feeling generally calmer at the end, and that's about the end of it.
Okay.
So, and then you guys are just going to go join everyone else downstairs. Anything else you need to do?
Nope.
Are you going to itch at it?
Yeah. Is that area?
As you itch through what I assume are like thicker clothes, like probably a wool.
I will unbutton a shirt.
Okay.
And just rub the undershirt.
You know how like when you get like lots of flour, like you make bread, you get lots of flour and it rolls into like those. You feel that. And Mr. Weld has kind of left the room, and so you're rolling. And
I will gladly open the shirt.
You open
up the undershirt.
What
the hell's going on there?
In the center of your chest, where you know you've been hit, there was no physical wound, but you can still feel it. The outer layer of skin, or probably the first couple of outer layers of skin, because they're all really thin, are cracking and peeling, like a sunburn, but it's dark instead of like a white or a red. So it's almost like a grayish green. But it's just it doesn't smell strange.
Okay. So it's not like when you get a pimple or whatever and you go.
I know this sounds strange. Would you like to taste it? I mean, if you're going to be inquisitive.
Oh yeah.
It tastes just like skin.
Okay. Because we've all.
Yeah.
You're familiar with that particular taste.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've all
Skin.
like bitten and hangnails and stuff. It's just like that. But it like peeling away in almost a circular, and then it gets to a point and it just stops, and it doesn't hurt.
Is it a circle? Is it
it's circular-ish.
Does it look like anything we might have seen previously?
No, there's no pattern there. It's just in a circle-like state in the middle of your chest.
I will lean out. Botticello, Dr. Wentworth.
I come back because I'm nearest.
Yeah, you were actually upstairs, so they may not be able to hear you with the crowd downstairs. The low rumble. But Mr. Weld walks back in, and you notice he's got his shirt up, and
I pull the shirt down.
Nothing to see here?
What's wrong, Captain?
I have. I didn't want to be indecent. I apologize. I didn't want to embarrass you. I have. That's a shirt.
Okay.
there's
And this developed after the meditation.
Hold on.
Sorry.
There's nothing there.
I have the skin is rather.
You look at. I mean, I assume you have some semi-hairy chest, like most. Yeah, it's just a chest.
It's not quite like sunburn, but it's.
And now that you
darker,
keep
and
playing with it and looking at it, there's nothing there. As your emotions have heightened, you've stopped feeling that you don't feel you don't feel the impact. You don't feel.
This was where I was struck when we were at the Cadogan estate.
And you saw something there.
Oh yes, it was like when your skin peels after too much burn. Only it was
And
darker, and it was
It is no longer there.
no.
I get really close and look at you in the eyes, focusing in, kind of looking.
Down here.
Oh, I know. This occurred during the meditation?
Yes, it started to itch.
Okay. Can I roll a cult?
Sure. What are you doing to me? I hate you.
Yeah, I pass.
And Bobby dies again.
Okay. Itchy skin. I mean, it might be some sort of magical corruption.
Mm-hmm.
Great. You're not as familiar as maybe the professor or Botticello would be with that particular skill area,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't see anything. Maybe it's a corruption of the mind, where he's reliving it. Maybe the meditation brought him into a spiritual ascension where he's aware of how this hit him and how it changed him in some way. But
are you familiar with the phenomenon of stigmata, Captain?
No.
It is a change that happens to followers of the Christian faith, primarily, where in certain states of heightened spirituality they may feel the wounds of Christ himself, and they may appear, in fact, upon their body. I myself have heard of similar things happening to followers of other faiths. Strange things is perhaps the meditation brought it on. Perhaps it is an underlying effect of the attack that you suffered at the estate. I myself, although I'm an initiate of the mysteries, I am by no means an expert. You may want to seek the medical attention of Mr. Botticello or Professor Wentworth.
You mentioned Mr. Botticello as medical attention, and I shivered because I saw what he did to that poor cow.
But I myself cannot answer what this is, only offer possibilities.
But the skin came off slightly. I pulled a piece off.
And now it is not.
I look around for the piece of skin, like...
I'm not saying that this did not happen to you. What I'm saying is that as your perception, as your mental state changed, perhaps it also wrought the physical change that you saw. I don't know if meditating in the future would be a good idea for you, or if it might help this.
Is there anything on my finger? Like you said, there's nothing on the fingers. There's nothing on the... I checked the hair around.
Yeah.
There isn't any...
well, and when you were looking at it before, there was no hair in that area. Like now that you're thinking about the hair,
right? But
if there was no hair whatsoever, like it had gone away.
But if I rubbed it, like those little things, like when you're making flour or whatever, that would have fallen down into the other hair.
There's nothing.
I see you have a questioning look on your face. I do not doubt your experiences or the reality of your experience. I've heard of experiences like this.
Yes, but
I do not know their meaning.
But at the moment, I'm doubting my own.
Don't doubt it. It happened. It happened to you. What it means is unclear, merely.
Oh, fair enough. I put the shirt down and button back up.
Do you want anything to be said to the rest of our party?
I think perhaps I need to speak to Mr. Botticello and Professor Wentworth.
That might be a good idea. Do you want me to go fetch them?
If you could, please.
Yes. Have a drink.
I will have a drink and a seat.
I go downstairs. Mr. Botticello, Professor Wentworth, may I borrow you for a moment?
Sure. What's wrong?
Oh, I don't know. Come on upstairs.
In my head, I'm immediately suspicious of anything that specifically requires you and I to be in a room.
Well, it's probably not a good thing.
Yeah, right.
Whatever this is, it's not going to be good news.
My apologies, Mr. Byrne and Miss McCrea.
Something has happened. Let's go get the two occultists.
Yeah, so I bring you.
Even though I wasn't invited, I will, get up and say I'm going to go wait outside the room in case they decide we're needed. Yeah.
Since we're
I'll
boys,
finish off this whiskey.
I can't take it
right
aside.
here.
Yeah.
It is an issue with the captain. He may be personally embarrassed, which is why he did not ask for you
Oh well.
specifically.
We'll be within earshot. As well.
That's absolutely fine. I just wanted to make it so, not to give you offense.
No.
Just so you know.
Are you getting a little British there? Oh, go ahead.
No, because he's actually my friend, so it's like...
So you guys get upstairs and you go into the room, and Captain is sitting there with a drink in hand and a bottle next to it.
And has done the best he could to polish off the better portion of that bottle between going downstairs and coming back up.
And it's clear.
Well, I'm looking around for did something happened in this room?
We were performing a shared meditation together to get into a state of nothingness. Don't worry about that. And he experienced a manifestation on his chest from where he'd been struck by the vile priest's emanation.
Do you still... Is it a physical mark, or...?
It has disappeared since...
And I unbutton, pull up the shirt, and is it still regular chest?
As he pulls up the shirt, you're familiar with peanut brittle, the hardness and thickness of that. This chunk, probably the size of like a
large palm.
Yeah,
Softball.
like a softball-sized round area of skin in a thickness and a texture and color of peanut brittle slides down his chest, and behind it leaves this green mucus, and it's like green, like this foam, like this bright green, and it just slides and flops to the ground.
I yell, "Byrne!"
Do I see this?
At which point,
Dude, who all sees this?
At which point, Captain Wilkerson, everyone in the room needs to make a sanity check.
Great.
Yay!
It's under current sanity, right?
Yes.
Oh, great.
And unfortunately, since it's happening to you, Captain Wilkerson, it's going to be a little rougher on you.
Yeah, I fail.
Of course it will be. Nope.
Everyone that failed, except for you, Captain Wilkerson, rolls a d4. Everyone else loses nothing. You failed?
Yes.
Roll a d6.
Thanks.
2.
Well, that's not terrible. So this thing has fallen to the ground. Mr. Byrne has been called.
Do I lose 2?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Did you lose any, Mr. Botticello?
Nope.
And Professor Wilkerson, you're as sane as ever?
Absolutely.
I lost 4. I look positively ill.
So, Captain or Mr. Byrne, you walk into the room and you look, and it's not gaping. There's a hole in his chest filled with green mucus, and there's a trail, and you follow. As an investigator, you're like,
This is your stage.
well, there's a trail, and you follow the trail straight to the ground where there's this chunk of something, and it's face down, so you're seeing nothing but the mucus on top of it. You will also need to make.
As someone who totally passed the sanity check, I'm going to step back slightly so as not to be in the swinging range.
Yeah.
I want to step
Mr.
forward slightly.
I'm in a corner retching, like, just dry heaving.
Like, my character's literally just like, and step back. I'm expecting to see something come flying by me towards the
Did you succeed on that?
No, I did not.
Okay, so you lose a d4.
Ouch.
4? Is that 15%? No, I'm kidding.
Now, what's the 15% rule as I plummet insanity?
If you lose 15% of what you have, or no, it's 20%.
20%.
20% of what you
A
have.
fifth.
So if you lose a fifth. So if you had 20,
You need to lose
you'd be-
5.
you'd have to lose 5. You don't have
Oh, okay.
20, so you're good. You'd
Right.
have to be under 20 for this to really affect you.
Right.
One shot.
I would have to
make me
lose
do a d6.
20.
What's that?
I would have to lose 20.
So, this thing that has slid off his chest, is it moving?
No.
Okay.
Are we in shock or anything?
If you lost sanity, you're taken aback. Mr. Weld
Did
is
you pass?
kind of
I passed.
dry heaving, I would assume, in the corner. Even
Yes.
though you've just eaten, I wouldn't assume anything came up because you weren't that. But it's kind of just there, and there's this hole.
Does it smell bad?
You don't smell anything yet.
You want to get in here and take a whiff?
Do
No.
you touch it, or
I'm rather taking it back because it was a little thing, and then it went away. And I was like, hey, look, I've got a bare chest here. I don't know what to do.
So he's...
so
Can I
do you
make
touch any of the mucus? Anything?
Can I make a quick, like, a cold roll or something?
You guess you're sure.
Okay,
Can I do that?
Try too.
Yeah.
I got it.
Can I
I've
as
got a
well?
gun in my hand.
Because I've been rocking the occult.
Okay, so Mr. Byrne has pulled his gun. You're not pointing it at anyone.
Not pointing at anybody, just it's at the ready.
Anybody
I think
see-
I'm within my
passed.
dexterity of everybody, though.
Yeah.
So the two of you, Mr. Botticello.
Can I roll one?
Yes, you can.
I got a 1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so everybody but the captain and Mr. Byrne, who doesn't have a gold, that's a corruption of flesh on the ground there. But that's...
The spell?
No, I mean, it is a literal, like, his flesh has become corrupted in some way, shape, or form. But it's where he was touched by that spell. That might be a side effect.
The spell I learned?
Yes.
No, you guys don't know this. The spell I learned?
Hypothetically, that's the same. Hypothetically, that's the same spell. You're assuming from everything you've read and seen that's the same
Okay.
spell. That doesn't mean that he wasn't a sorcerer of some type that could have conjured something different that looked the same or modified.
But does this mean, should we burn the chunk of flesh that's on the floor, / should we cauterize Wilkerson's wound? Or perform something on it?
Well, I'm the medical guy here.
Yeah.
So I'm saying this is
yeah.
magic.
Are you going
so-
to
Captain
inspect?
Wilkerson, are you still with us? Are you in control of your body? Say something quick.
Other than being taken aback,
That's good.
what?
Just wanted to make sure you were still you.
Oh, if I was not me, and I was meaning some nefarious mean, I would have drawn my weapon and slain you all. That seems obvious, does it not?
Out of his field of vision, I'm doing this.
I yank a sheet off of the bed and I throw it over the goopy mass on the floor.
Okay.
Does the sheet... Okay, thank God.
I thought you were going to get up and walk
I am
away.
going to go back to my room and get
Yeah.
medical supplies.
Okay.
Like gloves,
Okay.
containers.
Gloves?
Well, not like neoprene surgical gloves or anything. Just like
I'm, at this point,
You're touching
Whoa!
it?
Don't
So
touch it.
hold on. As he reaches to touch it, and Professor, you're gone when you've walked out of the room. As he reaches to oh my God, what? And you touch it, there's nothing there. It's your chest. And
The
you
image
three
vanishes.
also see it's just his chest. It's
I
always,
look
it's
under
always,
the sheet.
It's always been his chest, and you pull up the sheet, and there's nothing there.
Well, this is certainly problematic.
And that trail is gone as well.
And that'll do us tonight for... No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
no.
Well,
That is what I experienced.
Yes.
You saw it?
yes,
I saw what is not there now. Yes.
it was there.
I now notice you have a gun. Oh, Mr. Byrne, good. You were about to shoot it. Not it. Me. Not me.
Whatever it was going to be,
Yes.
I was ready to kill it.
But it now
Not-
it
it's not
appears...
you.
Now stop for a moment. Let's stop for a moment. Mr. Weld, you just come out of that meditative state. As in, you just come out of that meditative state. It's been 20 minutes. That is where you're at in time now. Mr. Captain Wilkerson, who you brought out of the meditative state, is still stuck. He's seemingly not there. Everything that we've just experienced has all been in Mr. Wilkerson's head.
Okay.
Gotta love a dream sequence.
So he is almost stuck there. He has either ascended into a different, he's gone into a place where he's not experiencing what's going on, or you could probably try and bring him out either
Safely?
gently or forcefully. Either one could be safe if handled correctly. If you're telling me you're going to do it safely, that's fine. Just whatever you want to do.
Am I pawing at my chest?
Nope.
Okay.
You're just sitting there. Yes, Mr. Byrne.
Do we still lose sanity? Since we didn't have
no,
us?
No, you guys can have that back. However, you lost yours.
Okay. So I've come out of that. He's still in it. What I'm going to do is kind of light a candle that will be very close to his field. Actually, I'll hold a candle in front of his face so that his eyes are, so you can't avoid not looking at it.
Okay.
And
Oh,
I assume that we were working with some sort of chant that we were doing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I'll match the chanting that he was either still doing or may have been doing, but then kind of alter it to try and induce a different kind of state, to introduce a change to his being.
Give me an occult roll.
Yes.
Okay. Captain, you feel yourself being pulled out of your meditative state, which makes no sense.
Oh, I'm meditating to gain sanity back.
So you're being pulled out of this
So I
meditative
don't wanna
state.
go.
You just touched this hole in your chest,
Right.
and now you're being pulled out of the meditative state.
I stopped touching the hole in my chest. I wipe my fingers off on my thing, and I don't want to go.
So you see him kind of and start wiping his hands on his chest and looking at them did I get it all?
Okay, I put a hand on his shoulder, stop chanting, and just easy, Captain, and just very calmingly, like I'm talking to a horse. Just come down, guy, come down.
Can you go ahead and roll me another sanity check?
Great.
Yikes.
No.
Okay, you lose another point as you realize that everything you just experienced did not actually happen, but could have happened.
Oh, I tear my shirt off.
Yeah, and you've never seen Captain Wilkerson ever take off anything.
Yeah, since I'm holding a flame, I move out of the way, but...
your chest is just as hairy as it ever had been, and you don't feel... There's no pulsing there, there's no nothing. It's just normal.
Okay. I'm taking the candle from you. Physically, if I have to.
Why?
I'm not talking about it, I'm just...
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a test for that.
We're gonna grapple this shit.
Dexterity versus dexterity. So what are your guys' dexterities?
13.
10.
So Scott, go 35% chance. You have a 35% chance to grab it straight out of.
So I gotta roll under 35?
Yes. 35 or 100.
No.
So he snatches at it, and you kind of keep it away from him without tossing all of the wax or anything.
Yeah, I'm moving further
I
back.
need the candle.
Why?
Give me the candle.
You are in a state
I'm
of
going to
shock.
jump at it again.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, 5.
Okay.
Okay, I will shout at him. Remember yourself, Captain.
Are you going to yank it out of his hand, knowing there's wax in it?
Yeah.
Okay. So strength versus strength. What's your strength?
Blow it out.
9.
And yours?
9.
Okay, so that's a straight 50%.
No. Yes. 19.
19. Okay. You pull it out of Mr. Weld's hand, and what are you going to do with it?
I'm going to cauterize that wound.
Like wax and all, just
Wax can drip down the front of me, and I don't give a shit about that. The hair's going away, and I'm going to burn the shit out of that hole.
You take a point of damage as you
Fair enough.
light some hair on fire.
Oh, yeah.
And burn yourself.
I'm going to slap him
Yep.
in the face.
Okay. And as he, like, you're doing this and paying attention, and he cracks you right across the cheek, and you realize that that was clearly not that never happened and not going to happen. You're in the real world, and you have not been affected by anything physically. Every time you've ever been affected by a spell physically, they've been in the same room, and unless Mr. Weld is doing it, no one is here. You're safe.
Is it gone?
Unless Mr. Weld is doing it.
And as you touch that, you realize that's wax on your chest. Because you're pushing in, like, you're like, oh no, that's wax. Because it switches for that.
You must calm yourself and tell me what happened. Stiff upper lip and all that, right?
Quite right. And when he says that, and when you say that, I'm like, oh yes, yeah, of course.
I must be more composed than this. And I relay the entire story to you.
So,
Okay.
Given your goal rolls already, I'm not going to
Yeah.
make you roll again. Whatever happened to him in those dreams has altered his consciousness.
Yeah.
In other words, what I'm saying is he's slipping slowly into insanity. And Mr. Byrne, you watched that happen to him. The captain has been through quite a bit more since then. He doesn't need to necessarily take time off, but going into a meditative state and without guiding it with that mindset, you need to be very careful.
Yes, okay.
So while you were trying to help him, you did help him attain a higher level and help him go to this place where he could be calm, but it's corrupted by those dreams that are already causing him.
I opened his mind in the wrong way.
You opened his mind without filtering at all.
And I think that I could possibly filter it.
You could easily filter it now that you're thinking about it and realizing
okay.
that that's a problem. But again, if it's like that in a meditative state, it could easily be like that in a dream state, which means meditation before sleep is going to become very important for him.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Captain, so you had an experience, and obviously it was a disruption of your mental state.
Well,
what happened was very dangerous.
and I peel the wax off.
Yeah, I mean, you pull some hair away and it hurts a little bit, but it's not that bad. Yeah.
Couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I'm going to walk over to my vanity area as I'm removing my shirt.
Okay.
So tell me more about this, Mr. Weld. I'm not a devotee as you are.
And I must caution you that I am no master of the arts. I'm only a student.
Of course.
Fear that I may have perhaps led you astray.
Well, I'm not even that.
Taken too much on myself. Your mind has been opened through the meditation, but also through the encounters we've had with those dark priests. You've become informed of other places and other things that have opened your mind. And some doors are best left closed.
I understand.
And so the harm you experience in your dreams that you may experience in altered states may manifest on your body, and they may leave scars on your soul. We can, if you wish, try to get to the root of this further. And knowing now what I know about how this has affected you, I may attempt to help you. But you may also wish to leave it alone. The choice is yours.
Well, I would, given the success of our first attempt, I would much prefer the assistance if you are amenable.
I will, and I will try to educate myself further on what we must now recognize is a spiritual condition, but that is matched by any sort of physical condition that you may know about. You have an injury, sir.
By 1924, 25, where are we at? 24, 25? Did they have safety razors? Or was it all still straight razors?
I believe it was still straight.
I want to say it was still straight razors. I don't know.
Okay. Then I do up I put a couple of drops of water in my shaving kit, lather fully, and lather my chest down.
Okay. And then shave?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want me to do that, sir? I know that it might be a bit odd, but you're not feeling anything untoward with that razor, are you?
Oh, no. I wish to remove the hair.
Okay.
So are you going to just shave yourself? So in the area that you cauterized, it's very painful, but the rest of it comes off just fine.
You don't make me leave the room, do you?
No, at this point I'm just like, what? I'm like, if you know what I want. Yeah, you're like, you need to go now. No, I don't. No. I'm like, why?
Then I'm calling in
the room.
I'm calling in Byrne to restrain you from topping
I
yourself.
Google claims that King Camp Gillette invented the safety razor in 1901.
No,
Really?
but you might be old school.
But you're British, so
Yeah.
that new American crap doesn't cut it.
Fair enough.
The term was first patented in 1880.
Awesome.
Gotta love the Googles.
So that's according to Wikipedia.
Yeah. Well, I didn't go that far. I just went to Google.
In any event, so I monitor and make sure and say, I will research this type of thing further, but I must stress, this is like a physical injury for you, and so you must be very cautious. You would not run on a broken leg, and so you must not experience on a, for lack of a better term, injured mind.
It's cool though. We're not going to go see a werewolf or anything.
Which allow me to translate to pure British for you. What he just said is, "You're crazy." He said it
when he said an injured mind, I was like, oh, so I'm crazy.
Yeah, and you saw me look for a word, and I could not come up with an alternative thing. That's just it came out.
So, Mr. Weld, are you saying that I am saddled with an infirmity?
Temporarily, it will heal, given time and given proper ministration.
Then would it be wise to have me in the group? Am I a liability?
You are vital to the group. You're no hindrance. You are a key member. We need you tonight to speak with Lord Vane. We need you at all times for your skills and your spirit, sir. I'm going to put you in harm's way.
Go, Meatshield.
I have done some things of which I am not proud, but it is generally the role of a captain to
assess the resources that are available to you on any particular set of missions, and if need be, to utilize those resources. Specifically, I'm speaking towards putting the mask on the professor. That was a calculated risk on my part, but given the fact that I may be suffering from an infirmity, do you think that my infirm nature could have led me to a mistake on that account?
I start to look, when you start talking about being a leader of men and being a captain and making those sorts of choices, I look very upset. And I kind of, you recognize I'm listening to you, but I'm also kind of being lost in my own thought and thinking about things I would rather not think about. And then, after you speak, I kind of pause and kind of weigh it. So you're saying that perhaps you believe that it might be some sort of mental corruption that led you to put the mask on the professor?
No, the mask,
Or the mask led it to you?
No.
I'm sorry, my mind slipped a moment.
Here's what I'm saying. Are you okay?
Yes.
Is this affecting both of us?
No.
Here's what I say. Or here's what I believe. I believe that I, being a captain and a proper measure of the resources that we have, took a calculated risk by putting that mask on the professor.
Right.
I did it intentionally. It was, in my opinion, necessary for us to learn more about these forces that drive us. Not in the good way, but it was a risk I was willing to take given the manpower that we had. My question to you is, was my thought process, was my decision-making process perhaps affected by this infirmity? It seemed sound to me at the time. given what I've just experienced, I'm wondering whether or not I was more infirm or less at the time.
You were in the war too.
True. What does the war have to do with this?
Was it infirmity that led to the commands to send the boys over the top into yards and yards of barbed wire and machine guns and fixed positions and concrete emplacements?
There are times that I ask myself that very question. But yet the order needed to be given to end the war.
I don't know if it was insanity or not. And I don't know if I'll ever know what makes those kinds of decisions. I made them myself, and I don't know. I don't know about whether this corruption could have led you to that, but I've seen men who I don't think have had the experiences that we've had do things much worse.
It is my hope that the horror that was brought by those events of the war will never be mirrored again on this planet. It was perhaps a global insanity that led us to that. But I am not dealing with global prospects.
No.
In this room at this time. I question my own sanity given your words. Am I fit? That is the question, Mr. Weld.
I think you're fit. I think the fact that you're asking that question means that you're fit.
Well, the statement is if you're asking whether or not you're crazy, then you're not. I don't know that I believe that. And I look down at my chest.
Or maybe we all are a little crazy.
Well, then perhaps I'm a lot.
Mm.
And the thought terrifies me.
Yes. Well, we should all be very scared, I think.
Well then, and I wipe myself with a towel and begin to redress.
Okay. So you guys finish up upstairs and come down. Headed towards, and grab the rest of the group and head towards the priest. Correct? Anything else? Yep. Okay.
I slap Mr. Wentworth on the shoulder. So you would have sewn me up, eh? Good for you. And I head out.
I look at the rest of the party and I'm just like, what? Did I miss something?
Meanwhile, Weld has like 1,000-yard stare going on and looks lost in some very, very bad thoughts.
I am totally confused. I'm like, so what?
Something
I
happened
noticed.
while I was gone.
Because
We
in my
noticed that.
mind,
Yeah, I
you
get
still
it.
trust me enough that you were going to help out, so we're good.
Yeah, it's clear that it's clear that Captain Wilkerson, what he just said doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't make any sense to you because the professor has been down here the whole time you've been eating. I mean,
And then Weld says he's not in his.
yeah, and Weld's kind of off in his own.
You would know me well enough. You know that I'm thinking about the war.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you head over to the church, knock on the door. The same woman opens the door, not sure she right in.
You have the books now, by the way. I'm not.
Oh no, he's
They've been sent to
off
him.
early.
Okay, I'm not gonna be like, oh, by the way.
You are brought into the sitting room and sit down, and almost immediately the Reverend comes out, Captain. Mr. Weld here was quite emphatic in his charges earlier. Are you prepared to speak with Sir Vane?
Emphatic in what manner?
That not enough has been done, and that some of us are failing in our duties.
Oh, that was very rude, Captain.
Oh, not at all. These things must be dealt with a somewhat delicate hand. You can't just merely go up, slap your hand on a door and say, if you'll pardon my frankness, bring your werewolf daughter out. That would be unacceptable.
So, Mr. Weld has asked for help with anything that might bring out Sir Vane. Showing intelligence and discretion would be the first couple, but it sounds like that did not go well in the first conversation.
Well, he seemed taken aback and reticent to share with us at all. Which, again, I can understand. If it were my daughter, I would want to shield that from any of the public knowledge.
Perhaps when you have the conversation, you work your way around to the point where you remind him politely that there's a town in danger, and that is what your concern is. Don't make it his fault. It isn't his fault.
Oh no, he isn't. We are not here to lay fault or blame.
And yet he is instructed with the protection of this area, so it is his fault. as far as he's concerned.
Hmm.
So, helping him understand that you don't believe that, and that you merely wish to offer your assistance in any way you can. That's the key.
Fair enough.
So, also, I would not go by yourself.
Why?
Because if Sir Vane has you, you're the only one that matters here. And the Americans can be arrested and sent back.
Fair enough.
And while holding you might cause problems in the long run, in the short term, he has gotten rid of 5 out of 6 problems.
Which?
By removing the rest of your group.
Of course.
So, do not go by yourself. Yeah, I'm not saying he's an irrational man, but he does not have a rational problem. This werewolf is by no means rational.
Of course.
So, that is all I wish to say, but I thought you would understand it better than perhaps a firebrand, such as Mr. Weld.
You did leave an impression, did you not, Weld?
I'm looking back and forth between the priest and Weld, like, fire? What?
I'm staring at a corner of the room.
Like, I remember you as the student. I'm just like, what? What?
I hear arrested and I glare at Botticello.
Yes.
So it's about that time that he pulls out a bottle of gin that was the first one you sent over. And he offers to pour a glass for each of you without saying anything. He pours and then offers it around.
Certainly.
Does everyone take it?
Yes.
Yeah, I offer him kind of a toast, but I don't make eye contact.
You as well? Mr.
Yeah, I'm
Weld?
going to dump it out to the side when nobody's looking, but yeah.
Yeah, he pours his own and clinks and takes the whole drink and then pours another for himself. And
Okay.
so
I'm not going to do that.
Anything?
no.
I instantly take the whole thing back.
Okay. And then he refills anyone that empties immediately, and then he pours another. He does pour another for himself, and he drinks slowly on it, sips. Is there anything else I can help you with? You have questions. Mr. Weld had mentioned that perhaps you would seek more knowledge, and I will give what I can.
If this should comport itself poorly, how does one handle a creature such as this should it decide to get physical?
From all of the reading I've done is silver. Have you prepared yourself in such a way?
Did we? I remember
Some
there was
people did
discussion
silver
on
stuff.
this.
I pulled mine.
I do.
Mine was being made.
Does anyone have bullets? No. It's the stick.
We had a couple bullets. I
thought it was too long.
I had one.
Yeah, you said it was too long to make.
You made one?
silver bullets.
I think I had one clip, not the right word, because I have different
One
guns.
load, basically.
Yeah,
A
one
revolver.
load. One load of my revolver,
Okay. So, and you also have the knuckles,
and I have the knuckles.
and you have your stick,
I have the stick.
and there's a secret garrote running around here.
Yeah.
You've got it, I
Give me
I have
the
no idea what
garage.
you're talking
What?
about.
think. You took it from me at some point, I think.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No?
No, my thing's still being made.
Okay.
We'll get through to you before we leave.
So, is there anything else is that it?
Certainly, you don't happen to have any silver slugs, do you?
No.
Just
Unfortunately,
asking.
the town does not exactly have a silversmith,
Of course.
so
But I thought perhaps it
you
wouldn't
might be
hurt
able
to ask.
You might find something up at Castle Plum, like a silver set
Oh,
of
no way.
cutlery.
Let us not crass.
Candelabra.
Well, when you're staring down something that I can only guess is 7 or 8 foot tall and hairier than bear, there's not a whole lot that I would count as crass in defense of oneself.
Fair enough.
So, if that's it, then he raises his glass to safety and discretion.
Here.
Yep.
He
Sure.
drinks it in. And again pours himself another one and drinks it right down. And
Oh, why is this gonna go bad?
so he stands and kind of like waits if you guys have questions, but he's kind of giving everything he can give at this point. So you guys head out.
I will light a candle in the church
Okay.
and leave a sizable chunk of change in the donation box.
Now, just as a reminder, that is the second time you've done that today.
What?
Lit a candle in the church and left a sizable donation.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't irritate him the first time.
Okay, fair enough.
I didn't irritate him the first time.
That's fine. So the rest of the day passes uneventfully, and we're going to skip right to Castle Plum. It's about 7 o'clock.
Okay. Which of us wants to go?
I think all of us should.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I think we should all attend.
Yes.
I'll go.
Good.
If we have a discussion, I'll explain what the priest told me, which is we should all go, except in dire situations, the captain should do all of the speaking.
So, you guys arrive around 7. It is dark. The moon is not up. And from your knowledge that you gained so far, unless the moon is up, then it won't matter. That there should not be a problem. So you enter the house, and you're brought into the dining room and sat, and Sylvain enters with Lawrence just a few minutes later.
Are there places set for the entire group, or is it
Yes.
family plus one?
No, it's Sylvain and Lawrence plus the group. He has completely not set us a place for Eloise.
Okay. But it's not like Sylvain's and Lawrence and one.
No.
Okay. Because I was like,
He motions, please sit. And he takes his seat, and Lawrence takes his seat as well.
I'll take the seat furthest away from them.
will Eloise not be joining us tonight?
Would you wish her to join us?
I would. I have not
The,
met your lovely
the
daughter.
accusations have been made. Would you like her to join us with what those accusations could mean? The moon will rise eventually.
Did he just confirm?
Yeah,
that-
yeah, he did.
that- okay.
Besides, as far
So-
as we know, she's already transformed.
I take a spoonful of soup and look in the direction away from the Lord.
So what are we going to do about this then?
Are you saying that in
Are you
character?
saying
Yes.
that out loud?
That is exactly why you're here at dinner. What are you going to do? You come, you have your words, and he looks directly at Weld.
I'm not looking at him.
He's doing this.
You have your words, you have your accusations, you have your solution. What is your solution?
I look at the captain.
That's,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. That is why we
Our
are
solution is to tend to the young lady.
My good captain. Tend to the young lady. Hopefully doesn't mean murder.
No.
Because there
If
could be a
there-
case made for that very thing.
Are there
By-
other? Are there? I mean, we have other avenues.
By whom?
By a man who's sane enough to see a monster in my basement.
Wait. So Jason is raising his hand here. Is that in character?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm the sanest one here. I deal with all the occult shit. I raise my hand. I volunteer myself as tribute, basically.
So, Miss
Professor.
you believe you have something that could help here?
Well, I'm the occult expert of the group.
And what?
One
What?
of.
And
One
what?
of three. Not in character.
And what does your mastery tell you here?
Having not seen your daughter, very little. As far as I know, you have a familial line curse.
Then
But it's implementation, effect, duration, strength.
then shall we? And he stands, like having not touched the food in front of him. He stands.
Yeah, I haven't eaten anything either. I just stand up.
This girl's like,
Oh, and
I'm actually still eating soup.
Mr. Wilson.
so he stands, and Lawrence gives a giant, like the biggest sigh you've ever heard come from a person, and stands as well.
sigh as in, oh, finally, or sigh as in, oh God, here we go again.
Oh God, we're going to show a bunch of people a werewolf, and what will they think of us?
I was thinking as well.
I would prefer to take Mr. Byrne with me, since
would
I am not
think
a
also.
physical man.
There should.
Are we not all going?
I think we should all go.
Oh, if we're all going to go, we can all go.
Yes.
It is safe to assume she is, well, restrained.
That is something you could call it.
I make a face at the captain that hopefully indicates something like, what on earth? British people, please, man. Just what does he mean by that? Translate his British reservedness if you will. That's a lot to get in a facial expression, but that's what I'm going for.
Apparently we shall look plainly on things tonight, Weldy. Shall we?
Wonderful. I will sidle up to Lawrence and kind of whisper, not whisper, but just speak quietly to him. We only wish to help.
And I will
anything.
And I will step in next to Lord Vane and say, Lord Vane, our hopes are only to assist in any way that we can.
Yes, of course.
Lawrence would be too familiar. But like, would be the correct address for a young lordling?
Miss?
No, to Lawrence.
Lawrence?
Master Vane, probably.
But yeah,
Master Vane.
Master Vane, do you have any books, any records, any research about this condition that we may look at?
No, none whatsoever. This was very unexpected.
What does he mean by mostly restrained?
She is.
Are you going to ask me that?
No, I'm asking Lawrence that.
What did he mean when he said that?
How old is Lawrence, by the way?
I want to say he's like 25.
He's the older brother? Okay.
Let me check that for sure.
Now remember, no kicking the man into the room.
No. He's 23.
All right.
So he's just a couple years older. This is a castle, so we have placed her in a cell and chained her.
Okay.
So,
You stop saying okay.
they take you down through the kitchen down into the storage area and some wine cellar and through the wine cellar into another storage room and then down to another floor, and there you come out in what Captain is a torture room. And there's nothing there to note that, but this is what it was.
That's what they do.
And then into a small hallway, and to the end of the hallway where there's a cell with a door that's closed, wooden, with bars, and there she is. We can open the door, Professor. This is surveying.
Briefly, can we take a step back? In the torture room, is there anything A to indicate that it's a torture room?
Nope.
B, that it's been used recently as a torture
No.
room?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so there's no like meat hooks.
Only the
And
only
I
reason
pull out the torch and hit the
Yeah.
bottom parts of the walls, etc. There's no blood.
Yeah,
There's
no.
Okay.
Okay.
Then I turn it off. I'm
There's
fine
no.
with it. That's
There's
what we
no.
do.
There's like deep inset blood that
Oh,
has
yeah,
been
no.
there for hundreds of
That's-
years.
yeah.
But the only reason you know this is because this is not the first castle you've been in. This
Yeah.
is probably the first castle that the rest of you have been in. Maybe Mr. Weld, you were in one at another point in time
Yes.
when you were here.
But I didn't live in one.
And you definitely didn't go down into any dungeon or basement.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it. I look very I flash the light around, and there are obviously darkened stains of what would likely have been blood 50, 100 years ago, and I seem fine.
Just
I'm
making
like,
sure
oh,
we're not being
yeah.
led to. Here's where we're going to torture you. Bye.
I mean, this is like antique wallpaper. I'm like, oh, hey, this is okay. All right, I know
It's
where we're going.
history.
It is history.
That's
what
character to the
That's
place.
that's what we as the British call it.
in
History.
each of the cells, and there are 6 of them, there are individual shackles and rings set into the stone walls, and the walls look to be about 5 foot thick. They're very thick walls. Eloise is held in a cell. It has a bunch of clean straw kind of strewn about.
What
And
condition is she
there
in?
lays a chained woman looking very scared.
Okay. How long does it look like she's been here? Like, did they just put her here like a few days ago? for the
Can you
full
roll
moon?
medical or medicine?
Yeah. No. With my 94.
Ouch.
Oh.
So it's indeterminate. She hasn't been there that long. You don't think?
I will
It's
ask.
not like covered in dirt.
No.
I'll ask Lawrence. How long has she been?
So yesterday we have developed a small routine where we drug her and remove her from her room on the day of the first full moon.
Does she know what's happening to her?
No.
At this time?
She remembers nothing. In
From-
fact, she'll remember nothing from these few days, and we've just convinced her that last couple of months she's been strangely sick.
Do you feed her while she's down here?
And you've noticed this now. How are they going to? Like, they can't bring animals down, so it would be very difficult to feed her.
Well, they drug her and remove her, take her outside, let her eat the deer.
Or is it
Especially if they drug the deer.
if they bring giant haunches of meat down, I don't know.
So they starve her for
3 days.
That's not that bad.
It's
Wow,
about that
have Weld and Botticello just switched bodies or something? Is this...
No, I'm saying that we had worse.
It's
You've probably
about
dealt that on the plains doing stuff.
It's about that time that you hear like a mousy voice come out of the cell. Father, is that you? And he just turns away, and it's clear that he's pained. There's no stiff upper lip here. He is very pained by what's happening.
I move to his side and attempt to offer what comfort I can.
Okay, my question is, like 5 hours ago, we found a not normal wolf den with a wolf somewhere inside of it, howling through the mountains or whatever, and she's in here in human form, having not changed yet. So has she given
Birth?
Yeah, like birth to another werewolf, basically, like scratched and bit him something.
I'm gonna check the cell, check the lower basement area. Could this connect to any of the mines?
There is a room beyond this, but you're underground. You're 2 floors underground. It echoes in here. It might carry into an adjoining chamber very easily, and then once it hits one of those, it could echo and echo and echo. So,
when was her last change?
Last night.
And she's been human all day.
We don't normally check. Once she's down here, we wait until the moon has gone.
You just leave her and don't.
Would you like to watch your daughter change into a monster and flail and growl and snarl, and then when she changes back, beg you to let her out?
So listen, that answers that question.
Mr. Byrne, please.
Well, we don't know what happened. I'm just saying the observation.
Will that make any significant difference?
Well, I did hear that.
Would you like to
How?
get a closer look, Mr. Byrne?
Well, I'm following Captain.
That guy.
I'm following Professor Wentworth's cues here. How long till?
Here's our conundrum. We looked around your grounds after we left here earlier today. We found a cave, a wolf den.
That was not no. That was definitely not a wolf den.
Okay.
That was like
yeah. The point being though that we heard a wolf from somewhere within the infrastructure howling, and this was midday. And if your daughter hasn't changed since last night, then there's something else.
I assume she hasn't changed since last night.
Has she been hurt at all, like from a gunshot wound?
She was hurt 2 months ago.
Did she regenerate the wound?
Has that healed?
She has healed.
When she got out, did she return as she normally looks, or was she?
We found her this last time, or the time that she got out, and this started the 3rd night. We found her outside of the castle early the next morning.
Right.
In this form or
in human form, unconscious.
What
There have
time?
been
It would have been 8, 9 o'clock in the morning.
There have been 3 attacks.
There were 3 nights, 1 attack each night.
Okay.
Those were all the full moon 2 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that was the first time this afflicted her.
Yes.
No, shortly after her 21st birthday, correct?
Yes. Weeks after her.
Do you have any private family records about these instances in previous generations?
We have nothing.
And
This is not something that I feel my family would have written down. This was something that would have been passed from mother to daughter, if there were a daughter to pass it to.
Now, I completely understand why you would not want to be around while she's changed, but have you ever noticed that she seems to remember some things?
She remembers nothing.
When she was wounded, it seems as if she made a trek back in this general direction, almost as if she known this was a safe place to go.
That's possible. I don't know the ecology of such a creature, or how intelligent it might be in such a way. What bestial intelligence it might have.
the beast might have some sort of access to her memories, instinct, if you will, to come back this way.
You said it's passed from mother to daughter. Where's her mother?
Her mother died years ago. It is afflicted upon any child born to the Vane, woman child born to the Vane family.
The mother wouldn't have had
And
the curse.
we haven't had a daughter born to the Vane family in 4 generations.
Has she handled any silver while she has been unrestrained?
I'm sure that we've had a nice dinner and that we brought out the silver at some point. There didn't seem to be any problems.
But was that before or after the
After the change, yes.
Okay,
So
this
in her
is
human
Shirley
form,
raising her
silver
hand.
has no immediate effect.
Well,
There's what, Shirley?
You're saying 4 generations, but Eloise is in her teen, or she's 21.
So
That's
4
not 4
generations.
generations.
Right, no.
No, like her mother.
Was outside of the family.
Yeah.
All
Mother
the
was
people,
not
all the people, the matrilineal lineage came from outside the family. It was just patrilineal descent from.
Basically, they've only had sons.
A Vane
Yeah.
father has to have a Vane daughter, and that Vane daughter.
So
will
this
be-
is the first Vane daughter in 4 generations,
Yes,
is what
yes,
you're saying. Okay,
yes.
got it.
There might be a difference
Math, I need
between
it.
handling silver and being
Well, we would need to see
inflicted
her
upon,
blood to prove otherwise.
Or it needs to be in the wolf form.
possibly.
We don't have much time before, nightfall. Were you going to make any closer
Moonrise.
observations? Moonrise. Were you going to
I
make any
think someone
closer
should.
observations, Professor?
I'm gonna.
I think it's a good
motion
idea.
while this-
I will assist you in.
I don't know. Captain Wilkerson, can you take a drop of blood from her for me?
Now that I tried to. Well, then, come on. Oh, you're all looking at me. Wonderful.
Well, I
Lord
can-
Vane, would you be against a sample of her blood?
If
You are
think
for
that's
it,
something
isn't
that could assist in your.
You have a
Well,
means
the
to
idea
draw
is to
this?
see if the silver would react with her human form.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't, then there's some sort of substantial difference between the two.
Yeah. And I give him this look like, yes, Professor.
I apologize. You are a professor of.
Many things.
That doesn't sound dubious. Tell him all the things you have a PhD in. That might sound better.
Yeah, anthropology, archaeology, occult studies.
We have the priest in the Druidic order. Like, I understand, the desire for privacy, but they're aware of the family history.
They are what?
I don't think we should have played that card at this.
Look, he wants to help. He wants to help his daughter. If he didn't know, his family histories are not available to him. If he didn't know that there was someone else who was aware of the problem, then he can't go ask for help, can he? Now he knows.
Mr. Byrne, why don't you help me draw the blood? Come.
Sure. What do you need me to do?
Do you have something with which?
I have all my medical equipment.
Yeah. So you hand him a
Yeah.
syringe of some sort.
Yes, and I hand you the
So
syringe
is
and
he
I
just
push
gonna
you into
blow
her
it off?
cage. I'm like, get in
No,
there.
if she
You
pops
don't have
werewolf, I'm totally okay with it.
Were you pushing Byrne or me?
Burn.
I don't.
I'll
what do I do
I'll,
with this?
I'll step in with him.
I've seen him, but
Captain Wilkerson and Botticello are stepping in. Is that what I'm understanding?
No, he was pushing Byrne in. He wasn't going in.
No, yeah, I served up Wilkerson, and he was all like, "No, Byrne."
But then Burn opened his mouth.
Mr.
Here.
Botticello is going in.
Let
Who
me-
else is going in?
I'm going in
Let
with Burn.
Let me see the needle.
okay.
I know a little first aid. His might work.
So,
Mr. Botticello,
Can I-
would
can I
prefer
get
to
a-
live through this.
can I get an official count of who is going in for sure?
I'm
3
going-
people. Okay. It will be slightly cramped, but not a big deal. The 3 he unlocks the door with a giant set of those old keys. Unlocks the door and pushes it open, and the 3 of you walk in. And as you get close, she looks terrified, like she doesn't know what's going on, and it's something you've Mr. Captain Wilkerson and Mr. Burns, something you've seen in trenches. I mean, this is the thing that you've seen. When that moment comes and those people
Shell shock.
snap, this is what you've seen.
She's chained up. Or
She
just-
is around her wrist, and as you get close, who has the needle?
I do.
And you go to.
I will be saying reassuring things.
Yes.
We're only here to help, miss. Please.
And do you want us to hold her down?
Does the way she's restrained? Does it look like she could get to me?
She's not like restrained, so she can't move at all. She's just.
Chained to the
Yes,
wall.
if you could hold her back,
Okay.
that would be great. I don't want her to move around. A needle is a.
No, yeah.
I'm going to take my best London doctor-ish impersonation.
Mistress Eloise, we are only here to assist you. This is for your own good, of course.
I'm
I'm going to be lecturing her.
I'll be in the doorway trying to block the Lord's view of what's going on.
Fair.
Me too.
As I get close, I'm also going to be looking her over for signs of
Weakness?
oddness, strangeness, weakness.
Signs of the devil.
You know,
I
third
didn't
nipple
quite
is
want
a
to say
thing.
this. Yes, that is what I'm looking for.
Are you looking for 666 under her tongue?
Okay, so
Scour her down and say,
Alright.
is it cold in
let's
here?
let's focus, guys. So you guys, 3 of you go. Mr. Byrne and Captain Wilkerson, you're going to restrain her.
Yes.
I'm going to lecture her. I'm not
You're
going to-
lecturing, so you're going to restrain her all by. You're going to hold this poor little girl all by.
If no one's going to help, then yes.
Um,
I'm
okay.
moving forward with the story.
That's fine. I'm checking.
She goes Krynos for.
So
Why I'm here.
as you like go to grab like an arm,
Gently but firmly.
she says, "Father, what's happening?" And you hear him shuffle like stiffly, and the 3 of you out there see him like step back and away, and he's very upset. And he says, "Father," or she says, "Father," and then you hear her voice drop. "All I want is your blood," and it rips out of her as you go to grab her arm. So now you're holding this giant hulking arm. Everyone in the cell and who might have been looking in, roll sanity.
Thankfully, Weld was blocking our view.
Not mine, though, as I failed.
Failed.
I am prepared for
I got
this.
it.
Roll a d8.
Missing the stuff.
Who?
If you failed.
Oh.
Okay.
If you succeeded, roll nothing.
Oh, 1. Not bad.
Oh,
Except for the
8.
other one. Oh, no!
What's your current sanity?
26.
Ouch.
So she rips. No, before you lost the 8. Is that it? Before you lost the 8?
Yeah.
So that's more than 20%.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
So as she rips open, your jaw drops, and you kind of just sink to your knees and just stay there for right now.
Yeah, I thought that's what was going to...
Can I pull him out?
So,
We'll get there.
Okay.
Hold on.
I turn around and look at the back of Weld.
And I just go...
Obviously,
So,
she's
okay,
standing in the
we're all
door.
obviously clued in on the fact that something happened.
You think? I just start screaming like
So
a girl.
since you were completely unprepared, and this is an instantaneous change, she roughly shoves you back into the wall.
Into
She
him?
into the wall. Like she's pushing you away from her. He's kind of coming around you. So,
Okay.
her strength is 25. Your size is 14.
Oh, Jesus.
It's an automatic success.
Sure.
According to the book. So
What page is
you
the
go
business
back,
table on?
and Johnny, you're going to take 4 points of damage as you bounce off the wall a little bit. It's rough. And then she stares down, Mr. Botticello. I mean, and by stares down, I mean she's staring down, looking down at you. So, what we're going to do, because this is the next step, is I'm going to get out the right piece of paper to record my things. And I'm going to steal this because you're out for a little bit. Yeah.
Quick rules question.
Quick rules.
Is there subdual damage in this game, or am I going to have to kill this girl?
There is.
If you take her below 0 and let her bleed out, then that will kill her. So you have to let her bleed out. Also, if you take her below 0 and then continue to pound on her,
Beat
after
on
she's
her viciously.
unconscious, then that will also kill her. If you knock her unconscious, we'll see what happens. She may or may not revert.
Yay.
So, according to my notes, Shirley starts at a 15.
I'm behind Weld. I'm not
Well,
even
you
in the
just
room.
heard something about blood, and there's something in there.
want
You
your
heard
blood.
somebody bounce off a wall. What are you doing?
Right. I'm going to step up behind Weld to see if I can see into the room.
You can.
But he's in the door.
Go ahead and give me an insanity check.
Great.
19.
It's on your current sanity, which is a
45.
45, and that is a 68.
$5
So
for
roll
me
a
to save
d8.
you. I own you.
So you lose.
Wow.
Because I really don't fucking like you.
Language.
Oh, sorry.
You don't like his character?
No, I don't. Something about waking me up with nightmares.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Hold on just a second. So 40.
I keep forgetting about that.
Divided by 5.
Are you still on about that?
9.6.
Yeah,
Really?
I'm happy.
What?
Nothing. You're fine.
Oh.
You had to have lost 9.
Yeah.
Or more than 9 to have
Yeah.
gone temporarily insane. So you see it. It's large and it's dangerous.
Okay.
Scary and hairy.
And the only thing between you and it is Botticello.
What I mean, all in one motion. I look back to see where the Lord is, pull my gun from my holster, and kind of like try to shoulder check, body check Weld out of the way because I don't see him draw his weapons or anything.
Okay. So you quickly push everybody out of the way. You can do all that and fire at half.
Okay, then
So-
I will fire once, and I'm doing it to subdue her. So
Well, that doesn't. Just go ahead and fire.
Oh.
That's the best you can do is fire and hope she doesn't die from one shot.
That's what I'm slightly worried about.
So go ahead.
Assuming I don't die from one shot back.
So
It's too bad.
I've got
Two
2
dice.
rifles.
10.
You're rolling on
Now
a
we
pistol.
have time for a
And,
double
yeah.
stick mojo.
Okay.
Hey guys,
Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Okay, let me sing it.
I can't help it. I want to try.
Yes.
Okay, so what'd you? So roll your damage. You're down here.
10 plus 2.
2.
8.
Okay. You hit her squarely. George, are you firing?
I have a question
I'm trying
before we get to George.
Okay.
Given my profession bonus,
It says animals.
it says large creatures, anything bigger than a dog or a whatever. Look that up if you could, because I may not be I may take the sanity loss, but still be able to act.
Well, it should be written down on your sheet, right? I mean, you wrote it down on your sheet. What's your big game hunter?
Big game hunter. The guy that told me to make my character didn't say anything about
Actually, he
writing
told
that
you
down.
right on the second sheet right there.
Stay cool. When charged by large animals, even monsters, I'm cool with any sanity loss. I have no reaction until the scene has resolved.
Give me a second to check to make sure. I'm not saying you didn't write it down right. I just want to make sure I read the
Oh.
actual.
So you can bust my chops for me writing it down, but
No,
you want to double check. I gotcha. I get it.
I was already looking when I was busting your chops.
Oh, okay.
In all fairness,
Well, fair enough.
I just don't remember what page it was on, which we should have freaking noted. Aviator, big game. There we are. Calculate sanity losses as usual. Any adverse effect until the incident is resolved. Okay, so yeah, you are perfectly fine. You can interact with this situation. However, it is still George's go. We go off of.
You're that guy after the combat who's hyperventilating, pointing everything
I'm at 10.
with his gun. Like,
So, can I pull Byrne from the room, or
You could go in and remove one of them forcibly, but not if they. I mean, there's a chance for them to resist you and stop.
how bad do you look?
I'm fine.
You want to stay in there?
I'm good.
Want.
I'm gonna drop lion paws
Okay.
as I do, and I'm actually gonna turn and see what. I'm gonna move out of the doorway so that
So I have a
McCrea-
sanity check.
what?
I need to make a sanity check.
If you're
Not
looking at
yet.
it.
Not clear.
So anyways, I'm moving out of McCrea's way, but I'm turning and watching to see what the Lord and the young
Okay.
master do.
Okay. And then let's go with Jason. What are you doing exactly?
Well, okay. I don't lose any sanity for looking at her. I will immediately start doing something that no one knows what I'm doing. I'm casting a spell, but I need one full round to do it.
Yay.
Can you describe it? Because I'm looking at you.
Like,
too.
no, you should be like, oh, no.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have the sticks out.
Yeah, they're with me. Like I don't have to have them out. I just have to do it once a day.
So are you chanting in a language?
Yeah, you don't know what the hell it is.
No, it
Well,
doesn't matter that I know what it is.
Roll occult.
Thank you.
Jason or Jesse Botticello, you can also roll occult. You can hear it behind you.
I actually failed.
I got it.
Occult? Yeah. Go ahead.
I got it.
I read up, remember?
It was the same thing that he got hit with.
No.
Oh, good. I'm glad I don't recognize that.
It's what?
Hey, focus, guys. Botticello, it is clearly a spell,
Okay.
getting ready to be unleashed behind you. So God knows what that means.
Does it sound familiar at all?
Are you? So that's what you're doing.
Yeah, it takes-
No.
Okay.
Scott.
It needs my action for
The spell that's being cast.
You don't know. You didn't roll. You didn't hear it before anyway. You guys were in a car, right, bouncing across a yard with guns firing. There's no way the heck you heard that.
Just wanted to make
Go
sure.
ahead.
Just double checking. Just
What are
waiting
you
for you to go.
doing?
You draw your gun and suddenly
What are
it
you doing with
reminds
your
you.
round?
I'm shooting her in the face.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I take it I didn't bring my rifle in. I only brought a handgun.
Why would you bring your rifle to dinner? That doesn't make any sense.
Dinner with a werewolf.
In close quarters, though.
Yeah. It wouldn't make any sense.
No, I've got. I'm going to pull out my trench knife instead. I'm just going to.
Okay.
Got it. And roll damage.
Yeah.
It says 1d6 plus 2 plus damage bonus.
Yeah, our damage bonus is 0, so it's a d6 plus 2.
Okay. 6.
Okay.
I'm going to shank her like she's in the
Oh,
yard.
you know what? I'm sorry. We can't take that yet. We'll take that later because it's firing, then melee.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My mistake. Jesse, are you firing?
I am not firing.
John, are you firing?
No.
Okay. Magic does go off during firing round, so you're fine because you're essentially not doing anything the rest of the round. Now it is her turn to eviscerate someone. She is going to attempt to break the chains that are holding her. I need to go back to my chart.
This is terrible.
Yes. And I want to know, the only reason I'm not firing is because we said we were going to try and do this without killing her.
No, I'm killing her.
Well,
Oh, I'm killing her.
I'm just making the statement. I'm following orders.
Like, I'm over here, I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, no, because when that happens,
She pulls one arm straight out.
Oh, Jesus.
Just snaps the chain.
We're
now
all
I'm
going to die.
fire.
Jesse, she is swinging on you. Oh, yeah.
Can I dodge?
You can attempt it, sure.
Who are you jumping towards, me or Byrne?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, that bad, huh?
Straight forward.
Into the punch.
Yes.
Look, a fist! Hop!
I will ruin your fist with my
Hey,
face.
guys, did you...
Oh, no.
Failed
I
to
didn't.
dodge.
So that's 7 damage.
Oh my goodness.
Plus her bonus.
That was her bonus. That was her bonus. And then she's going to bite you as well. Ooh, hey, no. So Shirley's gone. George, did you fire? No, you popped your claws. Are you gonna melee anything?
Can he get in?
He could. Yeah, there's enough room for you to get in.
What about Botticello? How about are you off?
I seem hurt.
I'm trying to get people out of there.
You did just watch him get clawed and then bit at.
I want to pull him out.
Okay. So you so roll your strength versus what's your size, Jesse? Are you gonna
my size
stop
is
him from blowing you
11.
out? Are you gonna?
No, but I'm not necessarily eating either.
Okay, that's fine. So what's your strength? 9.
Yeah, versus 11
So
is
60. Or no?
it's 40.
40.
Right.
And then roll 62. No, sorry.
62. So no. So you grab hold of him to pull him out, but nothing really happens. Jason's done. Scott, now you do your 5 points of damage. Sorry.
6.
6 points of damage. Yeah. Jesse.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
swing.
Okay.
61. I hit.
Okay.
Quite possibly the last thing I do. For 5 points of damage.
The fact that none of this is silver is awesome.
Oh, mine's
This
silver.
is-
Oh, yours is
Yeah,
silver.
mine
that's
is
right.
silver.
6 points.
5 silver.
Jesse.
Your head explodes.
Wait, did you get clawed by a werewolf?
Yes.
I did.
He didn't get bit though.
No.
You also know
It's not just vampires.
You also
I've
know
noted.
it's hereditary and doesn't pass. That was in the notes.
Yeah, but he's insane.
Yeah. And
He's
I'm
mentally
supposed-
diseased now.
So now I've been scratched by a wolf, bitten by a zombie.
Oh,
Jesse.
Yeah. Oh, God.
George, where do you have that chart?
Yes, resistance.
Yeah.
So if you die, you're going to come
6.
back as
Hey,
a zombie werewolf.
6 is the active.
Mhm.
14 is the passive.
5%.
Roll your percentage. You want 5 or below.
Holy balls.
Eh? No.
Okay. You don't auto kill it.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Okay.
I don't want fiber blow. I don't want to kill it.
But she does drop over.
No.
Huh?
Wait, what?
When she drops,
And John! Sorry.
I scream, "Everybody get out!"
Like, she's out cold.
She seems to be.
Everybody out of here!
When
now.
you say she ripped out of the manacle, do you mean the anchor ripped out of the
The
wall?
chain has snapped in two.
The chain.
So
is
she's got maybe a 2-3 foot section that's still attached to one arm. The other one is still attached to the wall.
So she can't move.
Then I'm going to attempt to restrain her again.
Okay.
I mean, my
No,
other
that's-
option was to punch her again, but I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Following orders. Yeah.
Anything else?
Are we out of combat?
Okay, yeah.
I'm drawing blood.
You're gonna draw blood.
What
I
are we in here for?
I immediately stopped doing what I was doing.
Okay. So you draw the blood. What else?
I
Yes.
back out of the room.
I turn around with my knife.
Oh
and
no,
go,
you don't. No, you
We need to
Yeah.
and fall over in a catatonic state.
Professor, attend to Botticello.
There's no need to draw blood. There's a gaping knife wound in her side. So,
But I have a needle.
well,
So just
Why don't you
suck
sit
around the wound.
down?
No, I want to go find this lord, because this is not how she's been restrained in the past, or else she'd have broken free earlier.
She probably didn't have the same stimulus as before. You are not well. You need medical attention.
she did
We
say
can draw the blood.
she wanted her father's blood, and he was standing right on the other side of an open door. So that's probably not.
I turn my
happened.
head. Where is the Lord at this point?
He has all but peed his pants. I mean, this was not something he was expecting.
Okay. But he's still there. He hasn't
Yes.
booked it
Okay,
upstairs.
he is clearly shaking.
He's backed in into a
Okay.
corner because he has nothing
Okay.
on him to defend himself
Where's
with
Lawrence?
anyway. Lawrence
Same
has backed up as well, but he has drawn a knife.
So
But it's not. But it's not like they ran upstairs and locked the door behind
No,
us.
no, no.
Well, that'll take care of
Well,
this.
no, I'm gonna look around at Wilkerson, the catatonic state on the floor, screaming like a little girl.
You've seen that
The
before.
dad
right?
having peed himself, the son being the only one with a weapon, and just be like, 1 for 3. Pride of the British Empire.
Okay, so
What a dick.
Botticello. So I take the syringe out of your hands and try and gently push you out of the room towards the professor. And I'm going to draw some of the blood.
I take him by his arm and pull him.
I've been
first.
hurt.
Good, good.
You're not safe.
I'm going to
Mr.
try to first aid
Botticello.
I
myself.
will medically
Mr.
attend
Botticello.
to
Oh,
Come
sorry,
on,
thank you.
guys, we're cross talking. What?
I'm gonna medically attend to Botticello.
What? You gonna talk to Botticello?
No, come along. We need to get to Professor Wentworth.
Yes.
Can I
yes.
draw a syringe
He's
full of
going to
werewolf
take care of me.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Now, did he roll that way on purpose?
So
Dabs
if
at
he
you.
fails at first aid, I can't even try to first aid myself, can I?
Not really.
Well, did
First
you
aid
medicine him or
yourself
first
anyway.
aid?
Oh, you can't.
Yeah, well, medicine doesn't really do anything. It's first aid in situations
Oh,
like this.
okay.
Medicine's over time.
Either one, doesn't matter.
So, you guys you've drawn the blood.
I
don't
do
care.
gauze.
I don't care. I don't care who has drawn the blood, but someone has drawn the blood. What are you guys doing now?
Is she as restrained as the best I can do?
I mean,
Well, is she
in this-
human
Hold
or
on, hold
wolf?
on. So restrained.
As best I can do in this
Are you
emergency.
gonna hold her, or are you gonna let her go? Because they got the one chain. You can't really do much with the other chain.
I can't tie. Can I tie her wrist?
Do you have rope?
I have a chain.
I have a silver
Can't-
wire.
Can't really tie a chain real well. I mean, these are thick links. These aren't like.
But she's linked already with
We
the
could
other
take her
one.
to another cell. There are many cells in this area. I'm sure they're changing on.
Are you doing anything with the wire?
Yes.
No, it's still like up my coat sleeve. Like I haven't pulled it out.
I'm going to go up to Captain Wilkerson.
Hey, he's gonna captain on a stake.
As pained as I am going to try to help him to his feet.
Okay. He stands ish.
And I'm going to take him back away from the action.
Okay.
Professor, do you still have the silver wire?
Where's
Yes.
my knife that I used?
It's probably on the ground.
Can we have it
Okay.
For what?
to restrain the lady?
Oh, I'm not sure that's a good idea.
What do you mean? And I'm also making sure that everyone at this point is out of the cell.
Mr. Byrne is still trying to figure out what to restrain her. I don't know.
I'm trying. I mean, unless somebody says something.
Are her wounds doing anything?
Not that you can tell.
Okay, so I'm looking at that.
Except for bleeding.
Yeah.
I have not hit anything this large with my stick. But I'm assuming it is the silver that helped this thing fall to the ground. I don't know if it was the contact, because I did not hit her overly hard. I didn't put as much strength into it as I could have.
Can I see your stick, please?
It's right here in my hand, yes.
You know what I mean.
Yes.
I'm going to take it, stick the end into her wound, see what happens.
It gets all bloody on the stick.
Doesn't like sizzle or
No.
anything? Alright, I'm going to hand it back to you.
Now your stick's all bloody.
Wipe it out.
Oh.
Okay. Anything
Well,
else?
I guess when he does that, I say, "Oh, is this wound going to be a problem? Can you attend to her?"
Can you first aid the werewolf? Like you did me.
So is she still in wolf form?
Well, yes, I can first aid the werewolf.
Okay, so you first aid the werewolf?
Yes, I will patch her up.
I'm close
Roll a
by.
D3.
Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna stand like guard right
One.
over when that's going on.
You I assume like wrap her in gauze and
Well, I'm not going to try too hard.
cover the wound, but like keep it from
Yeah.
bleeding everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
basically.
All right. So is that it, guys? I mean, what do we?
Are you going to tie it up?
He mentioned a silver wire. I'm
Yeah,
waiting
I
for
don't-
an answer.
I'm waiting for an
Didn't
answer
hear
too. But we're on the
Yes.
same page here.
Yeah.
Did you give me the silver wire? Or you still hold on to it?
No, actually, I pointedly got sidetracked with medical care.
Okay.
He, I agree with you that we need Mr. Byrne. That we should try to restrain the lady once more.
Well, Botticello mentioned brought to mind there's other cells. Can we move her while she's still unconscious?
Yes. Sir Vane speaks up. Yes. Let's please do that. And he
Yeah.
pushes the door
Yeah.
open across and like goes in and unlocks the manacles and starts getting them ready.
All right, I assist with that.
Okay, and I'm prepared to restrain her as much as I can.
She's heavy.
I understand.
Like no, I mean you can't easily carry her by yourself. Is someone else?
Well, I'm helping.
Okay, so the two of you pick her up and start dragging her across the room.
So
or
is
across the
she
hall.
human form or wolf?
No, she's still in whole wolf form.
Okay.
That's why she's heavy.
Is it dog wolf or the Kronos?
Yeah, are we talking Prinos or wolf?
It's your American werewolf in London werewolf.
Okay, Prinos one.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you start dragging her across the hall,
Yeah.
and as you pull her into that room, and go to
Oh, brass knuckles on.
that, I assumed you didn't take them off. As you go, boom. As you go to latch up her first arm, so you probably have it grasped about halfway down the arm, and you're holding it up, and her hand twitches and swipes right
Yes.
at you.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So you take.
I dodge.
Do you?
I have 24 under 27.
That's fine. You dodge out of the way. She swipes.
Yes.
But then she stands.
That's when you run out of the room and close it.
Yep.
Hold on. I gotta calculate a couple things. Okay, we're good. So we will go back to melee or firing. Shirley, are you like?
Alright, so I'm killing her.
I'm still across the hall.
Okay,
So,
so
I don't.
you haven't gotten any. George, are you firing?
I don't have a gun.
How
I'm
many
melee.
people are in that room?
2.
Yeah,
Plus
just
a werewolf.
and probably Sir Vane is there.
Well, I thought we were in the new cell.
Right? No, he went over to the new cell. Sir Vane did to unlock stuff.
Yeah, he unopened them up.
Right, he's waiting to help you. Like he didn't just leave the cell. There was no
He
reason
has to lock them back
She's
up.
unconscious. Why would he leave the cell?
Is she manacled?
Not yet. You were
No.
getting ready to manacle her.
Yeah.
Mr. Botticello, you are helping Professor Wilkerson, so
Yes.
you're kind of out. And
No, he's
I'm a professor now.
or
Captain Wilkerson.
Captain Wilkerson
Captain.
and
Don't
Professor.
you sully the name of a professor with his essence?
So you're Shirley. You're out in like the little hallway, kind of unaware of what's
Yeah, do I
anything.
hear it? What do I hear?
Nothing. Just
Probably a. Ah!
yeah,
Okay,
that-
then I run over there.
Yeah, growl.
Okay.
So you move and turn.
Oh god. I yell for everybody to get out, and I guess I try to shoot at her again.
Go ahead.
Seriously, you guys. No.
So your shot goes wide,
Ricochets off the stone.
and hits Byrne in the chest. He's dead.
Yeah.
That would happen
George
probably.
isn't firing. Jason, you're out?
I go into magic mode again.
Okay. Scott, you're still kind of out of it. I mean,
Does this snap me out of it or no?
No.
Great.
Jestin, you're kind of focused on the captain.
Yeah.
John.
Are we in firing round?
Oh yeah, we are in firing round. So we'll go back to melee.
I gotta wait for melee.
George, you're first in melee.
Vulcan pinch.
Fucking nerve pinch.
Yeah, what the heck? I ball up and punch her in the stomach.
Okay.
Claws or
I got my claws on, yeah. Because they don't. I can still do
Yeah.
carrying stuff, so that hits easily.
Okay. Oh, hold on. Yeah, you dodges.
She dodges.
Yeah, you. John.
I try to punch her with my silvered brass knuckles.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
For 4 points of damage.
That's off the trigger. Okay.
And I'm headshot. Punch her in the face.
I'm trying to
Try
face.
to knock her out.
Knock her teeth out. Okay.
Yeah.
And we go back to the top, and Sylvain leaves. He's unarmed, so he leaves out of the cell.
It's just real casually, just kind of struck.
No, he kind of bolts and
Right.
scrambles. And she is going to swing twice at you.
Bring it.
She hits, and
Nope.
She hits.
I dodged the first one.
You did?
Yes.
You can only dodge once per round.
Right. This is a new round. You
Right.
said top of the round.
I thought you said nope.
No, you said to the
Oh,
first
okay.
one.
To the first one.
Okay, so there's one, and that's 7, and 2.
What?
She swung twice. Oh
Right,
no,
I
no,
dodged
I'm sorry.
one.
You take 7.
Seven.
Your point.
Thank you.
I can't count past 1. That's hard. It's hard.
He doesn't do the maths.
Oh, that means you drop?
Nope.
For those of us that are not professors.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Unconscious.
0, 1, and 2 is
Oh.
unconscious.
All right. I guess I'm down.
So Byrne drops. George.
Shooting phase?
No, this is melee.
Pull
Oh,
him out.
I'm sorry. You're right. Shooting. So Shirley, you can shoot. I'm sorry. My mistake.
Oh, so I haven't taken my damage.
Not yet, but you will
Okay.
here in a minute.
I aim to, in the shoulder or something to
Complicated combat.
get her attention away
Two
from
phases of
everybody.
it.
Nope.
Okay.
the trick shooter as missed twice.
Jason, your magic.
Okay.
Can you fire
flourish
multiple
this
times?
at all?
Define
Yes.
flourish.
Like
Hey guys, hold on.
purely for theatrics, no change in effect.
So you don't want to hit it?
Well, no, I want to hit it, but I don't want to be like,
Should be able to.
you know, screaming some demon's name.
No, you're not gonna scream a
Botticello's
demon's
gonna murder
name.
me in
No.
my sleep.
No.
All right. What's her magic points?
Maybe not.
What do you mean? What's your magic points?
I have to roll against her magic
Oh,
points.
I just need to tell you a percentage. What your
I'm gonna have. Let's see. I've got.
You know he can backwards maths.
Do that.
What
30.
magic
That's
was.
fine. I just need to look up the what's your.
I have 37 magic points.
No, it's not off magic points, is it?
Yeah,
Is it
it's
not
my magic
more-
points versus hers on the resistance table.
I thought it was POW versus POW.
No, it's magic points. It's however much I don't spend versus hers on the magic resistance table.
So you spending all of them?
No, I'm gonna spend.
Oh, that doesn't sound right.
I literally just read it. It's whatever I don't spend in magic points versus her magic points.
What's the name of the spell?
Shriveling.
I
It specifically says my remainder versus hers.
okay. Well, 37 isn't on the chart, so
Yeah.
you can't- so you automatically fail.
I think I'm gonna go
No, it's
for 17 damage, so I'll have 20 versus whatever hers is.
so. So that gives you a 90. If that's magic versus magic, is that right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you have a 90%.
Okay, she takes 17 damage.
She's dead.
I just go, "Huh!" and she a blast hit her. She turns black and
Is it the
falls
same?
over.
Is it the same
it the
black
same?
bolt?
No, there's no knife involved.
It's a
no-
palish
yeah.
green bolt.
Pale green bolt.
One moment of clarification. She's using what kind of revolver is it?
It's I copied from his.
So it's a Webley?
Yeah, the Webley.
So it's like a 38.
No, it's a 45.
45. Oh yeah, so only get one. Okay. Just
Yeah,
as
one
used
one
to
attack.
Attacking front. Yeah. Okay. Just make sure
Yeah.
that's right.
The effect is basically you see a
Get a better
Well,
gun.
you don't.
No, actually, point of order. Magic is on firing rounds,
Yes.
Yeah.
so I did not get clawed and go down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Technically
Nice.
Since you retroed it so that she could fire.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I punched a werewolf.
blast of force hits her. She turns black and shrivels up.
Were you fully in the room, or
No, I was standing outside the room. I did not walk into a small room.
Was he within
Hold
view?
on. Everybody talking at once. Calm it down. Jesse.
can I make a cult check
Sure.
to see if this?
George.
I'll also do a culture.
Okay.
Oh, I roll 100.
Did I witness this?
Yeah, you'll be aware of it later.
I roll an
That's fine.
aught 6 on my occult.
And
100.
I just
Jesse,
want
you have no idea. It's the
You're
hand
totally
of God.
blank.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, George, you know he's used a spell that was probably more powerful than it should have been, given the man you know.
Do I know that it has a relationship to what affected the captain?
Oh yeah, it's the exact same thing.
Okay.
and I just want to be able to do this.
Yeah.
I slump
Later.
when she dies in front of me. I slump to the ground, and I'm just sitting on the floor of the cell.
I'm going to run into the room.
Hold on. So before you slump to the floor in front of her because you're kind of in the way, you feel yourself roughly pushed out of the way by her father as he kind of cradles the human woman shriveled form now,
Yeah, I
Good job.
and
Yeah.
he is crying like you've never heard a British man cry.
I probably start weeping too, actually.
And her brother just stands there, like standing furious, and turns and looks directly at the professor with a knife in his hand.
I Wentworth upstairs now, and I push him as roughly.
Push the professor?
Push the professor upstairs.
Okay. He just kind of stands there. Are you going to resist Mr. Byrne?
No, I'm
pushing
taking
you?
you upstairs.
Okay, so you two get pushed upstairs, or you pushed him upstairs.
Yeah.
And
As soon as he passes, I'm going with him.
okay, the brother kind of stands there for a minute, and then just goes and like kneels next to his father.
I
So-
lean in and touch Weld's shoulder. Sorry.
Okay.
And Weld, we need to get Captain Wilkerson and go.
And that will do us tonight. We will talk to you guys next week.